Star Cowboys podcast. I'm Kevin Turner. We have Saad Youssef. We have Father John Machota here for the Postgame Pod Live, and we also have Kent Garrison. Hope everyone's doing well after that Cowboys 31-28 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, the Cowboys, with technically a better record than the Ravens and the Chiefs. I did not see this coming about a month ago, but here we are. John, how was it yesterday out at the stadium?
It was wild, man. That's on so many different levels. I would say right off the beginning, the biggest surprise was when the doors opened, just how much red was running into the stadium, and then just how loud the Chiefs chant was at the end of the national anthem. Like, I even heard during the game that Tracy Wolfson mentioned that, like, even their sideline was surprised at how loud that was. A lot of Chiefs fans in there, and started off in a way somewhat similar to the Eagles game, where you're like, man, the road team gave their fan base that traveled a lot to cheer for, and it looked like it was shaping up to be a pretty good day for them. But this Cowboys team's been resilient, man, and it's tough, like, after a game like that, to just focus on any one thing, because there are so many things that, I mean, all the way down to a huge Malik Davis run, you know, that you're just like, it's difficult to just say, oh, they won this game because of CD or because of Dak or Pickens or, heck, the entire defense, or if you want to just single it down to Overshown or Quinnen Williams. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer, there's just so many levels to it. But to go toe-to-toe with that Chiefs team, I don't care what their record is. That's the team that's been to the AFC Championship game, whatever, the last 7-8 years. They've won 3 Super Bowls and been to 5. I mean, that's Patrick Mahomes out there. You know, he's not going to win MVP this year. He's not going to win MVP most years. But you tell me I got to vote somebody off that absolutely can't be on the other side of the field for me in a must-win game, he would be the guy I vote off in the entire league. And it's really not even debatable for me. So and it's not like he was awful either. Like, I thought he played a solid game, and they had their backs against the wall. And for the Cowboys to pull that game out the way they did, on top of beating the Eagles 4 days before that, both teams in the Super Bowl a year ago, and you beat both of them, it just nobody would have thought this, because I keep going back to May when the schedules came out, and we looked at this little stretch and we're like, oh, well, you get one win there, you're going to be extremely fortunate. And now they have a real chance to win all 3. Crazy. But for me, line 1 to me, it's the move for Quinnen Williams. That's what changed everything. They obviously were. George Pickens is a big part of it, but the switch was flipped when they got Quinnen Williams.
No, this feels to me like the Amari Cooper trade of 2017, where on the other side of the ball, but he kind of felt lost on offense without that move. Got it. And now I don't know. I would have to go back and look. Was there some offseason acquisition before that year that helped solidify the defense? You know, I think you have to, like, look into that a little bit, but, like, this feels exactly like that. Has the defense
ever been solidified in the last 15 years?
It feels like no, but feeling better about it now, Saad. What about you?
Yeah, I think this game was truly the one that really changed perceptions for me, because the Raiders, obviously, that was a wash. That told me nothing, to be honest with you. But the Eagles, that was a little tricky one, because they're a really good team, and, you know, they can pull it out when they need to, but they weren't playing well. We all saw that all season long. So, but that was a little bit of a more confusing one. This one, when the questions were all about the defense, there was not a whole lot of questions about the Cowboys offense. This was the true test, because this was the anti-Eagles game, whereas the Chiefs haven't been winning games, but their offense has been really, really good. Just for perspective, according to True Media, this is after yesterday's game, so this includes yesterday's game. The Chiefs' offensive total EPA is second in the entire league at 97.02, only 5 points behind the Indianapolis Colts and 6 points ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, who are number 3. So in terms of total offense, this is as good of a team as there is right now in the NFL. They were totally healthy. You had Rashee Rice there, Xavier Worthy, Kareem Hunt, Pacheco came back, Travis Kelce was there, Mahomes was there. Like, everything was there. And the defense essentially allowed 2 scoring drives total, because the first one was an offense mistake, and then they allowed 2 total scoring drives. And the biggest thing for me was we talked a lot about how, one player, this defense was not one player away from being saved. And I don't think there's one change. I know Quinnen Williams is the headliner, obviously, but Malik Hooker came back. DeMarvion Overshown came back. So there was more than just one. But for this defense to go from just getting gashed every single play to really after the Quinnen Williams trade, because Malik Hooker and Overshown's still working his way back in, and Hooker is a fine player, but this is a lot about Quinnen Williams, and I don't know, the defensive performance was really what stood out more than anything they did on offense.
I've been pretty critical of them waiting for kind of being late to the punch on some of these things.
One more thing, KT. If the Cowboys defense was still as bad as it has been all season long, and for Micah Parsons to have the game he did on Thanksgiving against Detroit and become the first player in NFL history to have 12 sacks in his first 5 seasons, I think the chatter would have been a lot more. I don't know, a lot more angry from Cowboys fans, obviously. But yeah, that backdrop would not serve well right now if the defense wasn't playing so well.
Well, I think there's a lot of things like I'm pretty critical of them, like waiting to get a lot of things done. Like Quinnen Williams trade all the way to the deadline, and understand deadlines make deals in this situation. The Clowney thing took longer than I think we would have wanted, but to see Clowney do what he's doing, and then like you've meshed together, looks like you knocked the draft out of the park for the most part. Although I will say, after the Cowboys video of Shoddy in the locker room, I don't think Jaden Blue's stock has ever been lower. After we all congratulate Malik Davis on not only his touchdown, where everyone stops and gets real hype. Oh, and the special teams tackle. I was like, oh no, that's not good for Jaden Blue. But like all of that, it's like it's also like a reminder that in football, man, stay measured, stay rational. The hot takes that you have in September probably not usually going to stand up to the test of time.
I disagree. We can have those. Nobody would have said in September that they would have made that move for Quinnen Williams during the season. I mean, that's a bold move, and some people gave it an F at the time because it was just such a bold, wild move. So,
but the gauntlet, we're 2-0 to the gauntlet, man. And like you look at it, by the halfway point of the season, the Cowboys had one of the easiest schedules remaining in the league, but it looks like the hardest in September. Like there's a lot of things that change, Oh,
no, there is. But I'm just telling you right now, I'm usually pretty measured on this stuff. If you tell me in September, even after the Micah trade, because obviously if they still have Micah on the team and you tell me they're trading for Quinnen Williams, then I'm talking about a Super Bowl. But if you tell me that right after they traded Micah, well, no, but they're going to make a move. They're going to end up getting Quinnen Williams during the season. I'd be like, I'll listen. You have my attention. This is a team that has spent nothing at defensive tackle for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, they used a one on Mozzie, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure,
to get a guy like Quinnen Williams, that to me was a real eye opener.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would eat crow from, especially from our conversations earlier, which is something we've mentioned in recent weeks anyways, is one player really did make that big of a difference on defense. Like we were talking about how one player wasn't going to flip everything and Micah wouldn't make that. I understand the position difference, but Micah had a similar impact when he was one player on this defense, and Quinnen Williams is having a similar impact as one player. Not that the defense is top tier, but man, this defense went from just absolutely bottom to at least being passable, and to do that to Mahomes and the Chiefs offense that's been just humming along all season long since they got healthy. That is something that, I special players make that kind of an impact, where he literally just raised the defense's rank by 10 teams in the league. And like I said, I understand Clowney, Hooker, Overshown, all these players are also, but the difference between who they were putting out there as those positions and what Quinnen Williams is bringing, it's night and day difference.
And he's in a tough spot too, because it isn't necessarily, did he get a sack? Did he get a tackle for loss? There's just so much that he does pressure wise. I mean, he continues to lead the team in pressures every week, but it's not just that, it's what he does for the rest of the defense. And so this isn't a great comp, but the closest comp I would say would be like in a way of, let's say the Cowboys offensive line is solid, but they're just kind of middle of the pack. But then all of a sudden they make a move and they get like Trent Williams, and all of a sudden you're just like, holy like, look at how, like, Dak's got all this time now and it's open up. And so it's like Pickens' numbers are better. Dak's numbers are better. Their running game's better. CD's numbers are better. Ferguson's doing these other things. Like, all of a sudden the offensive linemen next to him look better. And it's tough to quantify because it's like, well, what are you going to say? There's not necessarily a stat for that, left tackle to come in there. But that's the type of thing Quinnen Williams is doing. It's bigger than just the stats.
He got intercepted on the first drive when he got hit, but Dak Prescott was amazing yesterday.
Dude, that throw to Jake Ferguson was unbelievable.
Crazy.
It didn't stand, but that was that was just one of his just vintage seam throws, just amazing.
Also, the Javonte Williams touchdown pass. I mean, we haven't seen Dak do something like that in a long time. We've seen him create some time. He did it again too, where he almost got hit and he threw it. I think it was Pickens in the corner as well. On the near side, but on the far side, and it was good, scramble drill type stuff there with Javonte Williams realizing what was happening. But Dak moving around like that would not have happened last year, when he was healthy those first 5 or 6 games.
One thing I'll say on the offense too on that is, while I do think CD was being grabbed and that he deserved a lot of those flags, I'm also going to tell you that don't be surprised in future games when there's that same contact and it's not being called. That's a very different to officiating crew and stuff. I mean, I can just tell you let me just double check to make sure I have the right stat here, but I'll give you the perfect comp. I watched a Lions game against the Chiefs where the Chiefs didn't have a penalty. Chiefs, 10 penalties, 119 yards, so it's like the officiating crews from game to game will impact it as well, because I'm just saying that because like CD said after the game when he was asked, basically, man, it just seemed like when they targeted you that it was either you caught it or there was a penalty, and he was just like very matter of fact about how he I just want to quote him exactly on it. He goes, "That's normally how it goes. That's why I said it. No one can really guard me. It's just me dropping the ball, and I really don't do that often." And it's like, that is true. But you watch enough games on Sunday, and you just see games officiated differently. So while that was great, and CD had a great bounce back game, I just wouldn't go into every game thinking that he's going to get all of those calls on the back end.
Yeah, and honestly, the best example was the next game where, if you watch the Bengals and Ravens game, that's Zay Flowers' offensive pass interference. Like, both Cowboys receivers, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, do something like that, and it doesn't get called offensive pass interference, but Zay Flowers got called for it. So, yeah, I agree. That's a very subjective thing.
Through it all, also, I don't want to skip over this just because it is like highly entertaining. I think maybe, remember last week we talked about in the Eagles game, maybe the biggest play, even though they didn't end up scoring, was that muffed punt, and Trent Sieg goes and gets the recovery. The Kevontae Turpin
I knew you were
fumble recovery is maybe the swing play of the entire game, right?
Especially for a guy like Pickens who, that's the thing. That's what's so great about Schottenheimer is it can just be a random Wednesday, and it can be 15 minutes into a press conference, and he'll throw in like some little random nugget about like, yeah, GP's got to do a better job hanging on to the ball, and you're just like, file that in the back of the, in the filing cabinet for a later date, just like I was like, hey, is he always on meetings on time? Not necessarily, whatever. And I'm just like, I'll file that for a later date, and so there definitely are times where he's running with the ball and you're just like, that looks like it's there for the taking potentially. But so I mean, there's an entertainer level to George Pickens. You know what I'm saying? Like, he loves football, but there's an entertainment level there too.
Also, just aesthetically speaking, he looks like the most badass football player, just with the visor look and everything. And like when he when he does those hurdles, every time he's done it, those pictures just come out. Like, if you're just like, take off the uniform, whatever team you're a fan of, whatever, it just looks so badass the way that his shots come out.
No, just beautiful. And I'm to the point now where we're also paying for the entertainer part of this as well. Just give us the good times. Absolutely. Those discussions down the road. We'll get back together, guys, next week. We'll get you ready for Cowboys and Lions, where I can tell you, thanks to the athletic playoff machine that you and Saad built with your bare damn hands, Cowboys win 52% chance of making the playoffs right now. And that's without the rest of this weekend's games being played. I'm sure we'll have a lot of we'll have a lot of Bears fans maybe, or I don't know, maybe it would make more sense for the Cowboys if the Eagles won tomorrow, actually. Looking forward to that one, the Black Friday game, right?
I will say from looking at that thing though, and it is awesome. My hats off to all the folks at the Athletic, not Saad and I, who put that thing together. But I will say, with all of that, and you look at it and you start breaking things down, the one thing I keep coming back to that could be tough for the Cowboys if it gets real close down to the end is, man, that if you don't play head to head, the next tiebreaker is your conference record. And man, the Niners being on that 7 seed at 8-2 in the NFC is a mother effer. I mean, that's tough to beat, man. So that's why they're in such a great position. If they did not have that record, I do believe that those percentages would be higher, but it's going to be tough if you have that same record as the Niners to jump them. So that's the only part there that, yeah.
Well, we'll see if the Browns can get the upset over the Niners. We'll be video as well next week. We'll get together. We'll have a video pod out over at Haymaker Media. So give that a follow. I'm sorry, Haymaker Network. Go ahead and give that a follow. That would be great. And we'll have the audio podcast as well. So no sweat. So for John Machota, for Saad Youssef, make sure you're following those guys on The Athletic. For Kent Garrison, go ahead and give that Mad About Movies podcast a listen as well. I am Kevin Turner. We'll talk to you next time on the One Star Cowboys podcast. Goodbye.
I don't have time to have a bad time. It ain't on my schedule.